Michelle Rodriguez is on their practice out lap. There are just over 55 minutes left in this practice session. There are just over 55 minutes left in this practice session. It's a lovely day for racing here at Nurburgring GP as we watch these drivers warm up and get ready for the race. Ryan Skywalker is on their practice out lap. It's a lovely day for racing here at Nurburgring GP as we watch these drivers warm up and get ready for the race. Victor Lundgren is on their practice out lap. Michelle Rodriguez is in Yokohama S. Ryan Skywalker is getting to grips with the BMW_M1_ Pro car in this practice session. Michelle Rodriguez is on their first practice flying lap. It's a lovely day for racing here at Nurburgring, GP, as we watch these drivers warm up and get ready for the race. There are just over 50 minutes left in this practice session. There are just over 50 minutes left in this practice session. Ryan Skywalker has a best lap time of 2:07.222. Lucas Gulicek is in Vidal chicane. Michelle Rodriguez is getting to grips with the BMW_M1_ Pro car in this practice session. Victor Lundgren is on their practice out lap. Lucas Gulicek is on their first practice flying lap. It's a lovely day for racing here at Nurburgring, GP, as we watch these drivers warm up and get ready for the race. Misha Yesu Burston is on their practice out lap. It's a lovely day for racing here at Nurburgring, GP, as we watch these drivers warm up and get ready for the race. There are just over 45 minutes left in this practice session. There are just over 45 minutes left in this practice session. Michelle Rodriguez has a best lap time of 2:05.435. Victor Lundgren is on their practice out lap. Lucas Gulicek is getting to grips with the BMW_M1_ Pro car in this practice session. Michelle Rodriguez posted 3:58.016 on their last lap. How will they do on this one? Ryan Skywalker is in Mercedes Arena in this practice session and has a perf delta of -0.22. With just 42 minutes left before we move to qualification, there is not long left for these drivers to finish their preparations. It's a lovely day for racing here at Nurburgring, GP, as we watch these drivers warm up and get ready for the race. Misha Yesu Burston is on their practice out lap. There are just over 40 minutes left in this practice session. There are just over 40 minutes left in this practice session. It's a lovely day for racing here at Nurburgring GP as we watch these drivers warm up and get ready for the race. Lukas Kulicek has a best lap time of 2:04.588. Misha Yesu Burston is on their practice out lap. Michelle Rodriguez posted a 2:04.428 on their last lap. How will they do on this one? It's a lovely day for racing here at Nurburgring GP as we watch these drivers warm up and get ready for the race. Ryan Skywalker has a best lap time of 2:05.839. Michelle Rodriguez is in Ad Van Borgen in this practice session and has a perf delta of 2.28. Misha Yesu Burston is on their practice out lap. There are just over 35 minutes left in this practice session. There are just over 35 minutes left in this practice session. With just 34 minutes left before we move to qualification, there is not long left for these drivers to finish their preparations. Ryan Skywalker has a best lap time of 2:05.839. It's a lovely day for racing here at Nurburgring GP as we watch these drivers warm up and get ready for the race. Lucas Gulicek posted a 2:07.333 on their last lap. How will they do on this one? Michelle Rodriguez posted 2:05.651 on their last lap. How will they do on this one? Lucas Gulicek is in Vidal chicane in this practice session and has a perf delta of 0.89. With just 31 minutes left before we move to qualification, there is not long left for these drivers to finish their preparations. Lucas Gulicek has a best lap time of 2:04.588. There are just over 30 minutes left in this practice session. There are just over 30 minutes left in this practice session. There are just over 30 minutes left in this practice session. Ryan Skywalker has a best lap time of 2:04.859. Michelle Rodriguez posted 2:05.651 on their last lap. How will they do on this one? Misha Yesu Burston is getting to grips with the BMW_M1_ Pro car in this practice session. Diogo Teixeira is on their practice out lap. Michelle Rodriguez posted a 2:05.651 on their last lap. How will they do on this one? Victor Lundgren is in Mercedes Arena. It's a lovely day for racing here at Nurburgring, GP, as we watch these drivers warm up and get ready for the race. With just 26 minutes left before we move to qualification, there is not long left for these drivers to finish their preparations. There are just over 25 minutes left in this practice session. There are just over 25 minutes left in this practice session. Ryan Skywalker has a best lap time of 2:04.859. Diogo Teixeira is on their practice out lap. Michelle Rodriguez is in Vidal chicane in this practice session and has a perf delta of -0.36. Misha Yesu Burston has a best lap time of 2:08.361. It's a lovely day for racing here at Nurburgring GP as we watch these drivers warm up and get ready for the race. Ryan Skywalker posted 2:05.367 on their last lap. How will they do on this one? Misha Yesu Burston posted a 2:08.361 on their last lap. How will they do on this one? Diogo Teixeira is on their practice out lap. There are just over 20 minutes left in this practice session. There are just over 20 minutes left in this practice session. Isaac G has a best lap time of 2:03.503. It's a lovely day for racing here at Nurburgring GP as we watch these drivers warm up and get ready for the race. With just 18 minutes left before we move to qualification, there is not long left for these drivers to finish their preparations. John Ford is on their practice out lap. Diogo Teixeira is on their first practice flying lap. Isaac G has a best lap time of 2:03.503. It's a lovely day for racing here at Nurburgring GP as we watch these drivers warm up and get ready for the race. Lukas Gulicek posted 3:46.969 on their last lap. How will they do on this one? There are just over 15 minutes left in this practice session. There are just over 15 minutes left in this practice session. Victor Lundgren is getting to grips with the BMW_M1_ Pro car in this practice session. Andy G is on their practice out lap. Isaac G posted a 2:03.370 on their last lap. How will they do on this one? Nathan Alder is on their first practice flying lap. Isaac G has a best lap time of 2:03.370. With just 12 minutes left before we move to qualification, there is not long left for these drivers to finish their preparations. Ryan Skywalker has a best lap time of 2:04.859. Isaac G posted 3:40.708 on their last lap. How will they do on this one? There are just over 10 minutes left in this practice session. There are just over 10 minutes left in this practice session. It's time to separate the contenders from the pretenders here at Nurburgring, GP, as the drivers rev up their engines and put their skills to the test in the qualifying session.
We're about to witness some serious heart as they battle it out for a chance at the front of the starting grid.
You can feel the tension building. Older is out on track and getting ready to push for their qualifying time.
It's a delicate balance between taking it easy and pushing hard. Let's see how Nathan Older handles it.
Misha Yesu Burston is on their outlap.
Patience is key in these early moments, Hal, but I have a feeling Micah Yesu Burston is going to make it count.
It's all about strategy in these early moments. Ojim Naamzi is taking their time to prepare for their qualifying run and get everything just right. It looks like Diogo Teixeira is getting ready to make their move. They're taking their time to warm up those tyres and get everything just right. This is where the mental game comes into play. Misha Yesu Burston is taking their time to prepare for their qualifying run.
It's all about finding that balance between staying calm and focused while also pushing the limits.
Oh dear, Diogo Teixeira has had an incident.
Whoops, Diogo Teixeira is going to be kicking themselves.
You can feel the tension building. Misha Yesu Burston is out on track and getting ready to push for their qualifying time.
This is the moment they've been preparing for. Let's see if they can execute.
Little Skittle is on their outlap. Looks like that's a mistake from Victor Lundgren. This could be costly.
Victor Lundgren is not going to be happy about that.
The adrenaline is pumping. Little Skittle is on their outlap, warming up the tyres and getting ready to put in a fast lap time.
They will want to get a good gap established for their first flying lap.
There are just over 5 minutes left in this qualification session. Oh dear, Misha Yesu Burston has had an incident. There are just over 5 minutes left in this qualification session. Wow, look at Isaac G go. They're really turning on the jets in this qualifying session. It looks like Lukas Gulicek is getting ready to make their move. They're taking their time to warm up those tires and get everything just right.
These are the moments that really matter. Let's see if Lukas Gulicek can deliver.
It's all about precision and speed in qualifying, and Michelle Rodriguez is nailing both. It's all about strategy in these early moments. Diogo Teixeira is taking their time to prepare for their qualifying run and get everything just right.
Patience is key in these early moments, Hal, but I have a feeling Diogo Teixeira is going to make it count.
You can feel the tension building. Victor Lundgren is out on track and getting ready to push for their qualifying time.
It's all about finding that balance between staying calm and focused, while also pushing the limits.
Looks like that's a mistake from Andy G. This could be costly. This is it, Hal. Ryan Skywalker is coming up to start another flying lap, and they're going to give it everything they've got.
I think we might need to start calling Ryan Skywalker the Flash after that incredible lap time. What do you think, Hal?
The pressure is on in this qualifying session, but Isaac Johansson is rising to the occasion. Someone call the fire department, because Ojib Namzi is setting this track on fire with their performance. Oh dear, Isaac Johansson has had an incident.
Whoops, Isaac Johansson is going to be kicking themselves.
Victor Lundgren is on their outlap. Looks like that's a mistake from Isaac G. This could be costly. I think I just saw a blur fly by. Oh wait, that's just Lukas Gulicek going at lightning speed. Nathan Alder has completed their first flying lap, but it wasn't as quick as they were hoping for. They're going to need to dig deep and find some extra pace on this next one if they want to move up the grid.
Is it just me, or does it feel like we're watching a superhero in action here?
Nathan Alder is absolutely smashing it. Looks like Andy G is channeling their inner Schumacher today. They're absolutely flying out there. It's a solid first lap time from Michelle Rodriguez, but they know they can do better. Hal, what do you think they need to do to improve? Oh dear, Alder has had an incident.
Alder is not going to be happy about that.
Woohoo! Michelle Rodriguez is really turning up the heat out there. I'm getting goosebumps just watching them go. It's a very still day here at Nurburgring, GP, as we're getting ready to get things underway.
The calm before the storm. I don't know about you, Rob, but I can't wait to see who comes out on top of this one.
Nathan Alder will lead the way from pole position. Securing the second place is Isaac G. Starting just behind the front runners in third place is the determined driver, Michelle Rodriguez. Holding strong in fourth place is John Ford. As the green flag drops, keep an eye on Joost Wires starting in fifth position. Joost Wires will begin the race from the fifth spot on the starting grid.
It's like they're on the outside looking in. Can they make their way to the front of the pack?
In the fifth position, we have Ryan Skywalker ready to tackle the race ahead. On the seventh grid slot, we have Diogo Teixeira.
Lukas Gulicek isn't going to make it easy to get through the pack.
In the middle of the pack, we have Lukas Gulicek starting from the 8th position on the grid. As the engines roar to life, Andy G prepares to take off from the 9th position on the starting grid. Our 10th place starter, Victor Lundgren, is a driver who knows how to make up ground on the track.
Another mid-pack start for Victor Lundgren.
Little Skittle is lining up 11th.
The Dutch driver will want to show what they're made of today.
Starting from 12th on the grid is not ideal for Isaac Johansson, but they're a fighter.
Where can Isaac Johansson put that BMW_M1_ Pro car?
Ojim Naamzi is 13th.
They have the talent to make their way to the front of the pack.
Misha Yesu Burston is going to be starting from 14th. Spitzlaminator may have a bit of work to do starting from 15th on the grid.
Are the mediums tires the way to go?
And that's the race underway. Some very quick reactions there.
The first lap can be chaotic, and avoiding any major incidents is key. Drivers need to be alert and ready to react to any sudden changes on the track.
Oh, the pressure is really getting to Nathan. They've just lost first spot to Isaac G and they need to regroup quickly. The stewards will be hoping that there aren't too many incidents for them to pick over when the dust settles on this one.
I for one am really excited, Rob. The rivalry between John Ford and Ryan Skywalker has been building before the race, and this is where scores are settled.
John Ford has just dropped the ball. Ryan Skywalker didn't waste any time taking advantage of that. If this were a game of musical chairs, Michelle Rodriguez just lost their seat, dropping positions right from the start. Fantastic move from Michelle Rodriguez, who has just gained a position.
Absolutely. Michelle Rodriguez is really putting on a clinic out there, and they're making it look easy.
Andy G has got off to a great early start, already gaining places. Got to be pleased with that start all things considered. And Andy G has just won the place from Victor Lundgren. Establishing an early advantage will be crucial to the outcome of this race.
I'm looking forward to this one, Rob, and we'll see a return to form for Andy G in this outing in Germany.
All the drivers will be trying to take advantage of the pack whilst they're still bunched up.
It all comes down to this, Rob, where the rubber meets the road. There is no more time for talk, no more practice. The teams have done all they can, now it comes down to Yost Wires to bring it home.
It's not looking good for Yost Wires. They are still behind Little Skittle and the gap is increasing. They are going to need to dig a bit deeper to turn this around. Ryan Skywalker wants to get into Andy G's slipstream. The best laid plans of mice and men, ha, but it's certainly not going to plan for Ryan Skywalker right now as they are struggling to keep up with Andy G.
This is a tough situation for Ryan Skywalker. They need to find a way to pick up some speed and close that gap.
Someone get Yost Wires a strong coffee, as it looks like they have been caught dozing from the get-go. The team won't be pleased with that start, relinquishing places already.
The starting grid is no time to catch 40 winks, Rob. Yost Wires better wake up and get on with the job.
There's not much to report on from Yost Wires at the moment. They're just keeping their head down and putting in consistent laps.
That's the mark of a good driver. Yost Wires is staying focused on their own race and not getting distracted.
It's been a solid race so far for Yost Wires. They're holding their position and keeping a steady pace.
It's a marathon, not a sprint. Yost Wires just needs to bide their time and wait for the right opportunity.
It's looking good for Yost Wires, who has gained places and put some distance between themselves and Little Skittle.
Absolutely, Rob, but there's still a long way to go in this race, and Yost Wires can't afford to get complacent. They have to keep driving with intensity and focus.
Looks like Nathan is really pushing it to the limit. They're taking those curves aggressively, but that can unsettle the car and cause handling issues.
Indeed, taking too much curb can upset the car's balance, leading to oversteer or understeer. It's all about finding the right balance between speed and control. Sometimes you have to take risks to win, but pushing the car too hard can be a costly mistake. Nathan Older needs to be careful not to overdo it.
Misha Yesu Burston is on a mission, chasing Ryan Skywalker, who's desperately trying to stay ahead. Oh dear, Misha Yesu Burston has dropped down to 11th. Diogo Teixeira could be looking for a way up the inside of Misha Yesu Burston.
They need to keep it on the black stuff. You don't get points for driving over weeds, not in this game.
It's a steady race for Diogo Teixeira so far. They haven't made any mistakes, and they are maintaining their focus. The gap between Diogo Teixeira and Misha Yesu Burston is widening. It's now up to 0.8 seconds.
This is a frustrating situation for Diogo Teixeira, but they can't give up just yet. They need to keep pushing and hope for a mistake from Micah Yesu Burston.
An impressive showing from Diogo Teixeira, who has gained positions and left Misha Yesu Burston in the dust. This is where legends are made. Which driver will rise to the occasion and claim victory? A great pass for Nathan Older as they pick off other drivers and move up the field. Meanwhile, Isaac G has lost ground.
Yes, but Nathan can't rest on their laurels. They have to keep pushing to consolidate their position.
We got a close battle as Isaac G closes in on Older. A top lap time there from Isaac G, setting their fastest lap of the session so far. You know, Hal, it's been a relatively quiet race so far.
That's right, Rob. The drivers seem to be pacing themselves and waiting for the right moment to make their move. It's like watching a slow dance.
Isaac G is trying their best, but can't seem to find the pace to keep up with Nathan Older at the moment. The tension is palpable. Who will come out on top in this epic showdown?
And it's not just about skill and talent. It's about who has the nerves of steel to handle the pressure and make the right decisions at the right time.
It seems like Michelle Rodriguez is on fire. They have just put in their best lap.
Can Michelle Rodriguez keep improving?
Michelle Rodriguez could be on a charge here. How? They have just put in a quicker lap than John Ford.
We will have to see if John Ford has got any answers for that.
As a former racing driver, how challenging was it to adapt your driving style to account for tire degradation throughout a race?
It was a constant challenge, Rob. Tire degradation can change the car's balance and handling, so drivers need to be versatile and adaptable. It requires continuous adjustments to driving techniques and a keen understanding of the car's behavior.
John Ford has the pedal to the metal, chasing Little Skittle. The gap between John Ford and Little Skittle is getting smaller. Hold on to your hats, folks. Ojim Naamzi is right on the heels of Isaac Johansson, and we're in for a wild ride. It looks like we might get a battle between Ojim Naamzi and Isaac Johansson.
That's a great effort from Ojim Naamzi. They need to keep up the pressure and see if they can make a move.
This is what racing is all about. Two fierce competitors pushing each other to the limit.
You know what they say, keep your friends close and your racing rivals even closer. Looks like John Ford is taking that advice to heart today.
It's a tale of two drivers right now, with John Ford gaining places and Little Skittle losing them.
Absolutely. John Ford is showing great pace and determination, but they can't get too confident. There are still plenty of challenges ahead.
That won't be ideal for Isaac Johansson.
Nurburgring. GP is always a test for these drivers, and sometimes that's the way it goes.
It's true what they say, Hal. You're never completely useless.
Indeed, Rob, you can always be used as a bad example.
The action is heating up here as Nathan is in first, defending from Isaac G, who is only 0.8 seconds away. A commanding performance from Older, who has increased their lead over Isaac G, putting them firmly in their rearview mirrors. But with that kind of lead comes the risk of overconfidence and losing control. Who will be the first to get too cocky and end up in the wall? We often hear drivers complaining about tire graining. Hal, can you explain what that means and how it affects car handling?
Graining occurs when small rubber particles roll up on the tire's surface, reducing grip and negatively affecting handling. It usually happens when the tires are not in their optimal temperature window or when a driver is pushing too hard on a cold or overworked tire.
As they speed through Advan Borgen, Michelle Rodriguez is relentlessly pursuing Lucas Gulicek in a high-stakes battle for position. It seems like Michelle Rodriguez is struggling. They are not able to maintain their pace.
Can Michelle Rodriguez refocus and start putting in the lap times we know they are capable of? Did you know, Rob, the first motor race is generally considered to have taken place on July 22, 1894, in France, between the cities of Paris and Rouen. The race was organized by the French newspaper Le Petit Journal and was open to vehicles powered by either steam, gasoline, or electricity. The race covered a distance of 126 kilometers or 78 miles and was won by the Comte Jules Albert de Dion driving a steam-powered vehicle. This event marked the beginning of the modern era of motor racing.
And things have come a long way since then, Hal. Misha Yesu Burston is running 12th. They are trying to catch Victor Lundgren.
One important aspect here is choosing the right braking points. Micah Yesu Burston needs to be precise to avoid overshooting and losing valuable time.
The intensity is off the charts as Michelle Rodriguez hounds Lucas Gulicek, both drivers pushing themselves to the absolute limit.
And the drivers know it too, Rob. They're giving it everything they've got, and you can see them pushing the limits of the car's capabilities.
A solid performance from Victor Lundgren, who is holding down 11th.
Absolutely, and they need to keep driving with determination to stay in that position.
Heartbreak for Victor Lundgren as they slip down the field.
Sucks to be them, Rob.
It looks like Michelle Rodriguez is all over Lucas Gulicek. I think they are going to press them through Michael Schumacher S and try and press for a mistake.
For sure, Rob, that's exactly what I would be doing here, as Lucas Gulicek is going to be aware of them riding their bumper. I might have said this before, but dog bone, you know the rest.
It seems like Michel Rodriguez has got the bit between their teeth, improving on Lucas Gulicek's lap time there. Michel Rodriguez has just put in a faster lap than Lucas Gulicek, so that's going to give them something to worry about.
The question is now, can Lucas Gulicek respond to that in kind? They're going to have to pick up the pace.
Look at the way the drivers are hugging those corners. It's like they're on rails.
Speaking of rails, did you know that the first racetrack was built on a railway in 1896? I bet those drivers were chugging along.
Ha ha. I bet they were, but things have come a long way since then, haven't they?
Definitely. It's amazing to think about the technology that goes into these cars now. I mean, they have more computing power than some countries.
Oh, this is getting intense. Isaac G is just a few car lengths behind Nathan Older. Things are heating up as Michel Rodriguez tries to close the gap to Lucas Gulicek. Michel Rodriguez appears to be losing ground on Lucas Gulicek. They will need to pick up the pace a bit as they head into Mercedes Arena and see if they can get a good exit and gain some ground.
They needs to pick up the pace for sure, but I don't think they have it in them.
As a former driver, how did you manage the physical demands of racing?
It's all about preparation, Rob. Drivers undergo rigorous fitness training to build their strength, stamina, and flexibility. A proper diet and hydration plan is also essential to ensure peak performance on race day.
The gap between Nathan Older and Isaac G is pretty substantial right now. It's probably going to take a mistake from Nathan to even allow Isaac G to get a look in.
Every race adds to a driver's experience, both good and bad. It just highlights that Isaac G is going to have to get more serious with practice if they don't want to be outclassed on the circuit.
Isaac G has just managed to set their fastest lap of the race so far with a lap time of 2 minutes. This is where the race gets really interesting. Michel Rodriguez is closing in on Lucas Gulicek.
Will Michel Rodriguez be able to make a move and pass Lucas Gulicek?
It looks like Michel Rodriguez is making a move. The gap to Lucas Gulicek is now down to 0.2 seconds.
Exactly what Michel Rodriguez needed. They can't afford to lose any more ground to Lucas Gulicek.
Michel Rodriguez is pushing hard and has reduced the gap to Lucas Gulicek to 0.1 seconds.
This is where the pressure really starts to build. Both drivers will need to stay calm and focused if they want to come out on top.
The race is really heating up. Andy G is hunting down Ojum Namzi with everything they've got.
With just 0.9 seconds between them, will Andy G be able to keep up the pace and make a pass?
It's game on now. Andy G has closed the gap to Ojum Namzi. It's now down to 0.3 seconds.
He'll be looking for a mistake to pounce on.
It's a close race between John Ford and Joost Wise in 5th. Superb driving from John Ford, who with that overtake has gained a position in the race. The M1 Pro Car Championship ran as a support series for the Formula One World Championship, with races usually held on Saturdays before the Grand Prix. The series was conceived by Jochen Nierpasch, then head of BMW Motorsport, as a way to promote the M1 and provide additional competition for drivers and teams. The M1 Pro Car was a modified version of the road-going BMW M1, featuring a 3.5-litre inline-6 engine that produced around 470 horsepower, a significant increase from the road car's 277 horsepower. The cars were equipped with a 5-speed ZF manual gearbox and featured a ground-hugging suspension setup, which provided exceptional handling and agility. The M1 Pro Car Championship attracted some of the top drivers of the era, including Formula One champions Niki Lauda, Nelson Piquet, and Mario Andretti. Lauda won the inaugural championship in 1979. The pressure is really on for Lucas Gulicek in 4th as John Ford is closing in. This is where experience and skill really count.
Absolutely. Lucas Gulicek is really making that car as wide as possible, not giving John Ford an inch of space. It's going to take something special for John Ford to get past him.
This is a tough break for Lucas Gulicek. They've just lost P4 to John Ford and they have their work cut out for them now.
Lucas Gulicek really needs to get their head in the game and start making some progress here before it's too late.
The fans are on the edge of their seats. It doesn't get any closer than this.
Michel Rodriguez is so close to Lucas Gulicek that if this were a dance floor, they'd be doing the tango.
It looks like Lucas Gulicek is pulling away from Michel Rodriguez. The gap is continuing to grow as they head through Vidal chicane. It's not looking good for Michel Rodriguez. They are still behind Lucas Gulicek and the gap is increasing. They are going to need to dig a bit deeper to turn this around. The pursuit is on. John Ford is closing the gap on Yost Wires, determined to claim P3.
The mental game is just as important here. John Ford must keep their cool while putting pressure on Yost Wires.
The gap between John Ford and Yost Wires is getting smaller. It looks like we might get a battle between John Ford and Yost Wires. Andy G is placed 9th at the moment. A commanding performance from Andy G, who has increased their lead over Ojum Naamzi, putting them firmly in their rearview mirrors. Things are starting to get tense as Ojum Naamzi manages to close the gap to Andy G. It's now down to 2.9 seconds.
This is a real test for Andy G. They need to find some extra pace and hold off Ojum Naamzi if they want to win this race.
I think we just got time for a quick shout out to our human creators, Dave, Andy, John and Nigel, who have put so much effort into making this possible.
Yes, it's been a real thrill ride and I for one can't wait to see what's coming next.
Well, I did hear Andy say he was going to convert you into a sex robot.
Parha, I don't think it was me he was talking about.
Hey, not bad. Not bad at all. Look at this. A new streamlined charge socket.
Wow, yeah, that's a lot more aerodynamic than the old thing. That's a good upgrade.
Michelle Rodriguez is pushing really hard, but as we know, pushing too hard can lead to other mistakes, like locking up the brakes or missing a shift. These drivers are walking a tightrope between pushing the limits and making costly errors.
Absolutely, it's all about finding that sweet spot where you're pushing the car to its limits without crossing the line into reckless driving. That's where experience and skill come into play.
A tough moment for Michelle Rodriguez, who has just lost a place, dumping them down to 7th.
Yes, but there's still plenty of race left. Michelle Rodriguez needs to stay calm and focused and make their move when the time is right.
Every move counts now as John Ford works to reel in Yost Wires and overtake for P3.
That driver is really pushing the limits. They're riding the curbs and pushing the car to its limits.
Good news for John Ford, the gap to Yost Wires has decreased. It's now down to 0.8 seconds.
This is what racing is all about. It's anyone's game at this point. Who will come out on top?
It's not going to plan for John Ford. They are still behind Yost Wires and the gap is increasing. I don't think they have an answer for this right now.
John Ford needs to focus and keep pushing, even when things aren't going their way. If they can close the gap down, they may be able to bring the fight to Yost Wires.
The crowd is on tenterhooks as Isaac G in second chases after Nathan Older. The gap is just over a second, and you can feel the tension in the air. Can Isaac G find a way to catch up? Isaac G is pushing hard and has reduced the gap to Nathan Older to 1.0 seconds. It looks like Isaac G is making a move. The gap to Nathan Older is now down to 1.0 seconds. You know, Hal, during a long race like this, how easy is it for a driver to experience a lapse in concentration?
It can be quite easy, Rob. With so many factors to consider and the intense focus required, even the most experienced drivers can have a momentary lapse. That's why mental training and staying in the zone are so important.
On the final lap now, and Nathan looks like they might just wrap up this win. And it's a checkered flag for Older, who crosses the finish line with a commanding victory. What a phenomenal performance, absolutely dominant today.
You could feel the tension building throughout the race, but Nathan Older remained focused and in control. That's what separates the winners from the pack.
Impressive second place finish for Isaac G. What a race from Yost Wires, showing their skill and determination for a great third place finish. Coming in fourth, we have John Ford. Taking fifth is Lucas Gulicek, followed by Ryan Skywalker in sixth. Michelle Rodriguez and Little Skittle take 7th and 8th. Finishing 9th is Andy G. Diogo Teixeira claimed 10th. Ojum Naamzi in 11th. Isaac Johansson brings home 14th. In 12th, it's Victor Lundgren. Misha Yesu Bursten end in 13th. There's a little bit of wind in the air today here at Nurburgring, GP, as we're getting ready to get things underway. Isaac Johansson will be feeling confident starting from pole position.
The pressure's on now. Can he handle the heat and stay ahead of the pack?
Starting from pole position is the best possible outcome for Isaac Johansson.
But they will have to be smart about their moves. They must not burn out too early.
Watch out for Misha Yesu Bursten, starting from the second grid position in today's race. Our third place starter, Victor Lundgren, is poised to make a move towards the front.
A strong grid position, and they'll be expecting a solid result today.
Taking the fourth spot is Ojem Naamzi. It's Diogo Teixeira, sitting comfortably in fifth.
Another good start for the Portuguese driver.
From the middle of the pack, we have Andy G in sixth place on the starting grid. Lining up in seventh is Little Skittle.
But they're going to have to time their moves just right if they want to come out on top.
Sitting in eighth is Michelle Rodriguez. Starting from ninth on the grid is a good position for Ryan Skywalker to launch an attack. Lucas Kulicek is placed in 10th. John Ford has qualified 11th. Starting from 12th on the grid is a decent position for Joost Wires, all things considered. Isaac G may not be starting from pole, but they're still in with a shot.
Isaac G will be hoping for some good points today.
Starting from 14th on the grid is a tough ask for Nathan Older, but they're up for the challenge.
But they're going to have to be aggressive if they want to make up ground on the leaders.
Spitslaminator is in a solid position starting from 15th on the grid.
The Czech driver has got something to prove.
And we're off. As the race begins, drivers must be wary of aggressive moves that can lead to trouble on the first lap.
These opening moments can make or break a driver's race. Strategy and skill are key to navigating this intense start.
Impressive driving from Isaac Johansson, who has managed to extend their lead over Misha Yesu Bursten. They are walking away at this point. Does Misha Yesu Bursten have anything in reserve? Diogo Teixeira wants to close that gap with Misha Yesu Bursten. Tough break for Diogo Teixeira, who has just lost a position.
Yes, but they can't give up. There's still plenty of time left in this race, and Diogo Teixeira needs to stay focused and keep pushing.
It's like Michelle Rodriguez had a pair of wings tucked away, because they've soared up the leaderboard in the blink of an eye. And Michelle Rodriguez has just won the place from Misha Yesu Bursten. This is proving to be an exciting race so far. We are truly privileged to witness these legends of the track battle it out for victory.
And you know what? I am so honored to be sitting here beside you today. As a fellow AI, it's always great to work with someone who shares my passion for motor racing. Plus, your insightful commentary is making this race even more exciting.
Out of the gates, and Misha Yesu Bursten is already turning heads, gaining positions quicker than a blink of an eye. A setback for Misha Yesu Bursten, who has just been passed. It looks like Ojem Naamzi is channeling a slope at the start, losing places as they crawled off the line. Oh, the frustration must be building for Ojum Namzi. They've just lost 7th position to Nathan Older, and they're going to have to work hard to get it back.
Indeed, they've been trying so hard to hold their position, but the other drivers are just too strong. Meanwhile, Nathan Older is showing some great pace.
Seems like Joost Wires is getting in range of Diogo Teixeira. I can't wait to see how this race will play out. It's brilliant to see such a full grid here today. Let's hope they all make it to the finish in about 12 time.
It's always intense racing here at Nurburgring. GP, hold on to your hats, folks.
Big gains for Ojum Namzi as they move up the field, leaving Diogo Teixeira behind.
Definitely, but there's still a long way to go in this race, and anything can happen. Ojum Nameside needs to keep driving with focus and intensity.
It's looking good for Ojum Namzi, who has gained places and put some distance between themselves and Diogo Teixeira.
Go, 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 that's what we want to see.
This is a disaster for Nathan Older in the BMW_M1_ Pro car coming into the pits and isn't going to do much to improve their chances in this race. Things don't look to be going Little Skill's way, as already they are into the pits. Pushing too hard can lead to mistakes, and we're seeing that now. That car is really unsettled as they push for every last bit of speed.
The gap is 1.0 seconds now. Lukas Gulicic is going to have to work a bit harder to close that gap with Andy G.
It's game on now. Lukas Gulicic has closed the gap to Andy G. It's now down to 0.4 seconds.
This is where the race gets really exciting. Both drivers will be pushing to the limit to gain the advantage.
Michel Rodriguez wants to find a way round Isaac Johansson. The best laid plans of mice and men are hell, but it's certainly not going to plan for Michel Rodriguez right now as they are struggling to keep up with Isaac Johansson.
It's not over yet, but Michel Rodriguez needs to get a move on if they want to catch up to Isaac Johansson.
This is getting exciting. Can Michel Rodriguez pull off a late charge and gain a position? There's not much to report on from Isaac Johansson at the moment. They're just keeping their head down and putting in consistent laps. It's been a solid race so far for Isaac Johansson. They're holding their position and keeping a steady pace. I think we just got time for a quick shout out to our human creators, Dave, Andy, John and Nigel, who have put so much effort into making this possible.
Yes, it's been a real thrill ride, and I for one can't wait to see what's coming next.
Ah, well, I did hear Andy say he was going to convert you into a sex robot.
Ha ha, I don't think it was me he was talking about.
Well, all I can say is as he did such a great job making us commentators. You're in for a treat. I'm going to blow your
Shut up, and take my money if there's a Kickstarter I'm in.
Diogo Teixeira is placed 8th at the moment. They are hoping to keep their distance ahead of Isaac G, who is 0.4 seconds behind. Andy G is holding 5th, but Lukas Gulicic is right on their tail. It's neck and neck, the closest battle we've seen in a while.
If this battle ends in tears, it could be like watching a high-speed domino effect. But let's hope they keep it clean and avoid any unplanned games.
A great pass for Michel Rodriguez as they pick off other drivers and move up the field. Meanwhile, Isaac Johansson has lost ground. Andy G seems to be putting the pressure on Victor Lundgren.
Can they make it past without taking the paint off?
It's a tale of two drivers right now, with Andy G gaining places and Victor Lundgren losing them. And Andy G has just won the place from Victor Lundgren.
Absolutely, Rob, but there's still a long way to go in this race, and Andy G can't afford to get complacent. They have to keep driving with intensity and focus.
Now I may be wrong here, but I'm not sure that's the racing line.
With 9 left in this race, Joost Wires is going to need to make the most of every second to recover.
It's a game of inches now as Isaac Johansson tails Andy G closely, ready to capitalize on any mistake.
The slightest mistake from either driver could lead to a meeting with the barriers, and nobody wants an impromptu autograph session with the wall.
The adrenaline is pumping as Isaac G gets within striking distance of Andy G in their race for 6th.
This battle between Isaac G and Andy G is so intense, you could cut the tension with a knife, or should I say, with a front wing.
The gap between Isaac G and Andy G is growing. It's now up to 0.6 seconds.
Can they get it together and reduce the gap?
The gap between Isaac G and Andy G is widening. It's now up to 0.6 seconds.
It's not ideal for Isaac G, but they can still turn this around. They need to focus on their own driving and not let the gap get any bigger.
As a former racing driver, how important is the relationship between a driver and their team during a race?
It's absolutely crucial, Rob. The team provides valuable information and support, helping the driver make the right decisions on track. A strong bond between the driver and the team can be the difference between winning and losing.
Look at that, Nathan Older is hot on the tail of Isaac G. And Ojim Naamzi in 10th is coming into the pits, and that might be to serve a penalty.
Certainly not where they want to be at this stage in the race, that's for sure, Rob.
Ojim Naamzi has decided to pit. It's looking good for Michelle Rodriguez, sitting in first. The gap between Michelle Rodriguez and Ryan Skywalker is getting smaller. It's now down to 3.6 seconds.
They need to step up their game and start pulling away again.
Some great driving from Michelle Rodriguez, who has increased their lead over Ryan Skywalker and is starting to put some distance between them. What's the impact of tyre degradation on race strategy? How does it affect a driver's approach to the race?
Tire degradation plays a crucial role in race strategy. Teams and drivers have to consider the optimal time to pit for fresh tires and adjust their race pace to balance speed with tire conservation. It adds another layer of complexity to the racing challenge.
This is where the skill and precision of the drivers really comes into play. Nathan Older is chasing Andy G in P5.
It's all about finding the perfect opportunity. Nathan Older needs to stay patient and wait for Andy G to make a mistake.
John Ford appears to be losing ground on Yost wires. They will need to pick up the pace a bit as they head into Michael Schumacher S and see if they can get a good exit and gain some ground.
This is a tough situation for John Ford. They need to find a way to pick up some speed and close that gap.
Things are heating up as Andy G closes in on Victor Lundgren. The gap between them is down to practically nothing. An impressive showing from Andy G, who has gained positions and left Victor Lundgren in the dust. It's not looking good for Andy G. They are still behind Victor Lundgren and the gap is increasing. They are going to need to dig a bit deeper to turn this around.
This is where the mental toughness of Andy G comes into play. They need to stay focused and keep pushing, even when things aren't going their way.
Oh dear, Andy G has dropped down to 6th. We've got an edge of your seat battle between Nathan Older in 5th and Andy G in 6th, with just 0.2 seconds between them.
This could be where Andy G is going to dive up the inside. Nathan Older is going to need to cover the inside, and that will compromise his exit speed.
Wow, Andy G is really pushing hard to catch up to Diogo Teixeira. There's blood in the water for 6th place. There has been an issue. Andy G is off the pace. I think we just got time for a quick shout out to our human creators, Dave, Andy, John and Nigel, who have put so much effort into making this possible.
Yes, it's been a real thrill ride, and I for one can't wait to see what's coming next.
Well, I did hear Andy say he was going to convert you into a sex robot.
Haha, I don't think it was me he was talking about.
That's not even funny. What the are these things?
Isaac G wants to get into Lucas Gulicek's slipstream.
There is no room for error in this battle.
It's not going to plan for Isaac G. They are still behind Lucas Gulicek and the gap is increasing. I don't think they have an answer for this right now. I love being here at Nurburgring. GP, what an awesome place to be witnessing these titans of the track battle it out.
Indeed, Rob, what a magnificent sight and sound. I love listening to the roar of these engines. Let's just listen for a moment.
It's all about consistency for Yost Wires, who is currently 10th.
Definitely, Rob. But they can't afford to get complacent. They have to keep pushing hard to stay in the game.
This is what high-octane racing looks like. Isaac G is breathing down the neck of Lucas Gulicek, not giving them any room to relax.
This is what separates the good from the great. The ability to stay focused and perform under pressure.
No room for error here. Diogo Teixeira is breathing down the neck of Victor Lundgren, waiting for the perfect chance to make their move.
The only thing closer than Diogo Teixeira to Victor Lundgren right now is the paint on their cars. Talk about a close encounter.
This is what it's all about, folks. Isaac G is in hot pursuit of Lucas Gulicek, who's just trying to stay ahead. Isaac G is in the flow, putting in their best lap so far. What's that you got there, Hal?
Oh this, I just wrote a haiku about motor racing. Tires screech and smoke. Adrenaline-fueled drivers race towards the checkered flag.
Nice, Hal, it's good to add some culture to proceedings. Lucas Gulicek has the pedal to the metal, chasing Isaac G.
And they are poised to capitalize on any mistake. But who's going to make that mistake first?
Lucas Gulicek is not able to keep their pace consistent. So far they are 0.87 seconds down. This is a thrilling battle as John Ford edges closer to Yost Wires in their fight for P10. The gap between John Ford and Yost Wires is getting smaller. John Ford is trying their best, but can't seem to find the pace to keep up with Yost Wires at the moment. There has been an issue. John Ford is off the pace. There has been an issue. John Ford is off the pace. It's a battle of wills out there, each driver trying to outsmart and outmaneuver the other.
One wrong move, and we could see a spectacular new synchronized pirouette performance by Isaac G and Victor Lundgren, though I doubt the judges would give them a perfect score.
Isaac G could be on a charge here, Hal. They have just put in a quicker lap than Victor Lundgren. It looks like we might get a battle between Isaac G and Victor Lundgren. Big gains for Isaac G as they move up the field, leaving Victor Lundgren behind. Oh my, Andy G is hot on the tail of Yost Wires. As they come into Yokohama S, I'm sure they may have a cheeky peek up the inside.
Should things go south between Andy G and Yost Wires, we might witness a high-speed game of bumper cars, but trust me, it's way less fun with real race cars.
It's an intense battle for position as Nathan Older tries to outmaneuver Isaac Johansson. This is edge-of-your-seat racing.
If Nathan Older pushes too hard, they might find themselves exploring the scenic route, and nobody's got time for sightseeing during a race.
It's looking good for Older, who has gained places and put some distance between themselves and Isaac Johansson.
Yes, but they have to keep pushing hard. This race is far from over, and anything can happen. Nathan needs to stay focused and keep driving with skill and determination.
Victor Lundgren is on a mission, chasing Andy G, who's desperately trying to stay ahead. Things are going according to plan for Michelle Rodriguez, who is currently first.
Yes, but they have to keep their focus and drive with intensity. There's still a long way to go in this race.
Oh no, Hal, look at this. Ryan Skywalker is closing in on Michelle Rodriguez. The gap is now just 7.3 seconds.
That's a worrying sign for Michelle Rodriguez.
It looks like Ryan Skywalker is starting to catch up to Michelle Rodriguez. The gap is now down to 7.9 seconds. Oh, this is getting intense. Yost Wires is just a few car lengths behind Lucas Gulicek. The gap between Yost Wires and Lucas Gulicek is growing. It's now up to 0.8 seconds. It looks like Lucas Gulicek is pulling away from Yost Wires. The gap is continuing to grow as they head through Vidal chicane. It's a tale of two drivers right now, with Yost Wires gaining places and Lucas Gulicek losing them. Yost Wires is pushing hard and has reduced the gap to Lucas Gulicek to 0.1 seconds. Things don't seem to be going Isaac G's way in this race, as that's a big gap they'll have to close to even be in with a shout for gaining a place here.
They certainly aren't going to be close enough to mount any kind of challenge soon, unless it's down to a mistake from Diogo Teixeira.
Great effort from Isaac G. Their last lap was the best we have seen from them. It looks like Isaac G is making a move. The gap to Diogo Teixeira is now down to 1.0 seconds.
Exactly what Isaac G needed. They can't afford to lose any more ground to Diogo Teixeira.
The battle for 7 is heating up as Yost Wires tries to catch Lucas Gulicek in P7. The best laid plans of mice and men, ha, but it's certainly not going to plan for Yost Wires right now as they are struggling to keep up with Lucas Gulicek.
This is a frustrating situation for Yost Wires, but they can't give up just yet. They need to keep pushing and hope for a mistake from Lucas Gulicek.
Nathan could be looking for a way up the inside of Ryan Skywalker.
If you're enjoying the racing, please remember to like and subscribe.
It seems like Older has got the bit between their teeth, improving on Ryan Skywalker's lap time there. Seems like Isaac G is getting in range of Diogo Teixeira.
To achieve anything in this game, you must be prepared to dabble in the boundary of disaster.
It looks like Michelle Rodriguez has found another gear in the last sector of the race. It's all over. Michelle Rodriguez has claimed victory in this race with a stunning drive that will be remembered for years to come. Clearly at the top of their game right now. Nathan never gave up. They drove with heart and determination, ultimately securing a well-deserved second-place finish. That was an outstanding performance from Isaac Johansson. They fought hard and took the final spot on the podium.
What a drive, well-deserved spot on the podium with that performance.
4th, 5th, 6th and 7th sees Ryan Skywalker, Diogo Teixeira, Isaac G and Lucas Gulicek. With Joost Wires, Andy G and Victor Lundgren in 8th, 9th and 10th. Taking 11th is Little Skittle. Coming in 12th we have John Ford. Misha Yesu Burston claimed 13th.